to make contested catches. What's the teaching point for your cornerbacks when they find themselves in those situations?
You know, you have to be physical and violent with your hands through the route. I mean, they're very good at it. It's tough to defend, you know, because of all the pushing and shoving that occurs and whether you're going to get a PI, but you really got to be physical back through the receiver and then violent, you know, at the catch point. But, I mean, you don't want to tell your guys to, you know, back off and worry about the PI. You know, they got to be aggressive.
What is Steve Howard?
Yeah, Coach, I asked Coach Day about this. Curtis Rourke was a big run-pass guy at OU, 800 yards rushing in his career there, 17 so far this year at Indiana because they haven't needed him to run probably with the blowouts. Just some of the issues you guys have had with quarterbacks being able to get some yards. Are you guys preparing that might be part of their plan to attack you this week?
I think you always got to prepare for it, right? He hasn't shown it that much, but you always have to be sound against it. And, yeah, we know we've had some issues in the past, and not really in the quarterback run game, but more the improvised scramble or quarterback draw. So, yeah, we have to work on that.
What do you like about him the most, I guess, Rourke? I mean, or what do you see?
He's extremely efficient, you know, calm in the pocket and very efficient. Makes all the throws, gets rid of the ball quickly. You know, in that type of offense, he's very smart and figures out, you know, where the holes of the defense are and takes advantage.
Up the Iowa, Spencer?
Jim, I know that you guys like Davidson's physicality and what he brings on the outside, but with the penalties that they seem to happen just one a game, like, is that something that you guys have almost learned to accept with the notion that he's going to be physical and, yeah, you're probably going to get one a game?
No, I mean, you don't ever accept it. You know, you just keep coaching, and you keep coaching him on technique and without limiting his aggressiveness. But you don't ever accept the penalties and just say, oh, we're going to get one. But keep coaching him and, you know, go through the clips and, you know, just tell him where he can get better.
Go fourth row middle, Dan Hope.
CJ Hicks got in on a couple plays late in the game, rushing off the edge. You've said before that, you know, you wanted to keep him at linebacker, but when you see him make plays like that, do you think at all about kind of changing his role, making him more of an edge rusher?
Always. I mean, you know, CJ has that talent and that skill. So I think his future is going to involve a lot more of that.
Right here in front row, Joey Bosa.
Jim, with Davidson, the way he plays, that physical style, I know there's times with the passer, but have you kind of coached the player like that, where you have a play, like you have the pass interference call, but then you have the play like Penn State? I mean, just such a kind of a wide spectrum. What's like coaching that, or have you had a player like that?
Yeah, he's different. He's different. You know, and to me, it's fun to coach because he has that aggressiveness. He's going to throw punches, what I call, you know, and you know, it's a good thing. And you just have to keep working on his technique.
Right next door, Bill Billings.
You guys have not given up a touchdown in the third quarter this year. I know it's coming. How much of
Thanks,
that
Bill.
is? Would you like to be insulted? I mean, no, that's a good thing, right?
Yeah, I'm more used to that.
To what do you attribute that? I mean, some people say halftime adjustments. I mean, how do you explain it?
Yeah, I feel like we have veteran players who, you know, you can make adjustments with, who, you know, there's always a flow to every game. And, you know, teams come at you early with different things, and that's just football. I mean, you can work all week on something and not get it at all. So I feel like our guys are veteran, and they make those adjustments. They get into the flow of the game, and they know more what to expect. And, you know, they can meet the challenge.
The flip side of that is a little bit, I mean, Northwestern drove the ball on the first two possessions. A game like this, I'm sure you don't want to give Indiana oxygen. How important is it going to be to not have a repeat?
Yeah, we never want to give anybody anything. Yeah, so I mean, you know, you want to start fast, finish first, and win every play in between. But, you know, I think the mentality of this game has got to be, like compete to win the game on every play because they're so efficient they're very efficient on offense. So I think you preach it all the time, but it's even more important in this game that you come out really fast.
Right behind you, Stephen Nees.
We haven't talked to you since the Purdue game, and the Jack made its debut after a couple of years being off with Mitchell out there. Even though they gave up some yardage during that drive, but what did you like seeing Mitchell in that position? And you just mentioned with CJ. CJ guys who play that as well?
I like what those two guys do. We didn't have much in at the time, so we were limited. Just wanted to, get them involved and always wanted to get Mitch involved and CJ involved. They're good players, so I just always think there's a future there for that package for those two guys. I think they can be really good at it.
Tony Girdman.
When you're facing a team coming off of a bye week as a defensive coordinator, that you've got 10 games of film to look at this year, but you know you're going to see something that you haven't seen before. What's going through your mind during this weekend?
Everything. Yeah, I mean, there's, you just keep mulling it over mentally, and then, that's my process is you take all these things and exponentially all the things that can happen, and you just keep trying to weaning it down to something that's manageable for the players. Like I don't want the players in my head thinking what I'm thinking, so it's kind of like, okay, just keep thinking about all these different possibilities and looking at the video, but when you present to the players, it's got to be manageable. So.
Deep center field, Jeremy Birmingham.
Jim, I know it's like unbecoming to complain about officiating, but at some point do you guys get frustrated or ask an official what it takes to get a holding call against your defensive line?
No, I don't ask that. Yeah, it's not. I don't know that it's unbecoming. It's just, it's just pointless. It's just pointless. Spend your time thinking about something else.
Front row Austin.
Jimmy, have you felt like Denzel has been frustrated at all over the last few weeks?
No, I don't think so. I think Denzel's level-headed. He practices and plays goes through meetings like a professional, and you see very little change in his demeanor no matter what happens, and that's the sign of a good player because he's just going to keep competing.
We'll wrap it up with Tim May.
Yeah, Jim, I'm just wondering, do you feel like you're ringing out, so to speak, the depth chart right now with the guys you're playing? There seems to be a pretty good mix of guys going in, et cetera. And could you just name a couple of guys that have really stepped up? But mainly, do you feel really good pretty much with everybody you throw into a game when the game's basically in the crux?
Yeah, I do. I think guys who come in who do well, like, Caden Curry, KJ, I mean, those guys, they do a lot, coming in at end. I thought Arvell Reese had his best game of the year. Arvell had his best game of the year last game, which was exciting to see. So I saw a real leap forward with him last game. And we haven't been able to get them in much, but I like Malik and Jalen McClain have been doing at safety. I really do. When they get their chance, they've been showing up. So I've been happy with those two.
And really quick, you didn't announce this, but has Jordan Hancock been activated? You understand what I'm saying? But he seems to be a lot of places, different times of the game and stuff. What do you like about just the way he's come on?
Yeah, he's got the abilities, to be he's become more of a run fitter, blitzer with the man coverage skills. So he has those skills of a corner and has been more actively involved in the front in different places. So I think he's got all the tools that you look for in a safety, in that he can cover a slot and do other things too.
Thanks.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Jim.